Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Bonko and Monte, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're episode 4. This is the pre-show for LVO. I am joined with my co-host Monty.
Hey there, guys.
And we have our special Battle Brother guest here, Alex.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about all things Heresy for LVO. We got a few things definitely to chat about. First things first, hobby stuff, painting stuff.
Still painting stuff.
Yeah.
Alex is ahead of the game, I think. He was done a while ago.
I took full advantage of COVID and quarantine this year. I had my Blood Angels done like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Some touch-ups and stuff I'm still working on, but that's all done.
Yeah, I kind of left it till maybe last month and a half.
Yeah.
And definitely caught up quick. So, but I am glad to say on the weekend that I got everything painted and AK'd, and I was working on bases. So almost there on the weekend. So yeah, I will be ready. My army will be.
What do you have left? Do you have anything else left other than bases?
That's pretty much where I'm at, right, for what I was going to be doing there. Weekends end, pretty much I got up to bases, so everything's pretty much going to be done and ready to go. Just got to put it in the put them in the cases, and off we go. So
Awesome.
Yeah. Let me tell you, AKing large vehicles is not fun. Many hours, yeah, and many Q-tips. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, like the hobby supplies you go through doing that stuff.
Oh man, there's a lot, but it looks good. I like it. I'm glad I'm done. So.
Yeah, it's been quite the push. Quite the push,
oh yes,
for sure.
Yes, it has been.
What do you have left, Bill?
Pardon?
What do you have left to do?
I've basically got everything wrapped up. I've got to finish off a little bit of airbrushing here just before get ready to roll. Just the cannons and the Volkites for my sabers.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been good. It's been a nice solid amount of progress this weekend for sure.
I just remembered, I do have one thing. I have hunter killer missiles that are still en route from eBay that are supposed to be here Monday morning. I hope.
Uh-huh.
I hope.
Yeah, I don't think the extra little bits that I had ordered are going to make it on time. So I adjusted my list to use what I have and just go with that. So yeah, that's
always a drag.
That's kind of like that's all that's really been on the table.
Yeah,
in this last couple of weeks, just get it done, go hard. Anytime I get, just try to work on it, and finally put another notch on the belt with another army done, and still a lot more to go.
do you think there's sorry, Bill, first question is, do you have more to do for the scars that's not painted?
Yeah, there's probably about 15 to 18 like outrider bikes.
My goodness.
And a javelin, or not a javelin. Actually, there's another javelin, and there's also the White Scars version of their javelins. So
and Jagatai as well.
And then there's also a lightning. So
just a bit.
yeah, and there was actually I actually had a regular Land Raider in the army that I was going to do up as well, but I pulled that out. So, but yeah, characters. I have another Praetor that I could do up if I wanted to, but the bulk of it is done. This event was or is not quite the way I wanted to build my army, just due to the event layout, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Oh yeah.
So, just try to make a list that I could work with and paint up, and got some stuff all done up, which I'm glad I did. At least I have it now. I can play around with stuff, right? So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for that.
Did you get to build your own 3K? I know you got that 2K Centurion you still got to work within, but
yeah, well, that's the thing is originally my army for White Scars, I don't have any infantry at all, and with working with the Centurion list and having to fit that into your actual 3K list, I got pigeonholed into having to take the infantry, so I had less points to work with what I wanted to do, right?
Okay, I gotcha.
So the whole army got shifted into something completely different. So, and you guys know the struggles I had with that and whatnot. So, but made a list that I was happy with to take and play with. So, see how it goes. See how I do. Still got bikes though. That's all that matters. And yourselves? Did you guys have to do like any major adjustments, or you pretty much fit your army kind of into the same fold that you usually would?
Well, this is my first time running an actual Starties list, so it's I don't know what that looks like yet. We're gonna find out though. We're gonna find out real time.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it's been a bit since we've really gone into any large events for Heresy. So
It's true. As far as the Iron Warriors go, they were pretty easy to get into a list. The biggest struggle, obviously, was just painting all the Marines.
how many Marines you got?
I have 60. 60 tactical Marines.
Fun.
Why?
Because I like drowning the tabletop in power armor. So
He thinks he's playing his orcs.
yeah. My main thought process for everything was trying to build squads that were very hard to kill and would hopefully net me a lot of VP, considering a 20-man squad with Vixilla and a apothecary is pretty hard to wipe off the table unless you're going to be throwing some dedicated anti-armor, anti-infantry shots at it, and consistently. Like, it's not just one turn, they're gone. It takes a little while, so
like you have 20 man with an apothecary.
yeah. Times 3.
Lord.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be pretty sweet. As far as that went, it's just trying to support the main body of the Legion with some Dreadnought love and add some mobility as well. That's when I ended up taking those sabers and the javelins. So
Good lord. I can't even it's a lot of raids.
it's a ton.
That's going to lock down some objectives for sure, right? So,
I'm a little worried. Just on the do you want to talk about the event, or do you want to just go through hobby first?
We kind of did a hobby. You know what? Let's just jump in. Let's jump right in. I know people are probably excited to hear about it and our thoughts, so let's just go.
Do you want to give the preamble of what it's about?
Sure. Sure. So the Heresy event is a 2-day, 6-game event going on, and there is a twist this year where you have to make 2 separate lists. One is a 2,000 point list using Mournival events Centurion Plus restrictions. So there are very, very detailed list construction that you have to follow, and then you have to use that army and translate it into a 3K list where the restrictions kind of go away, but you still have to utilize like the army that you've made. So if you're not familiar with some of the Centurion stuff, basically anything infantry, all types of infantry are unrestricted, and you have to have 4 units of infantry within your 2,000 point list. For every 500 points, you need a unrestricted unit. That counts for characters and whatnot as well. For the event, you are not allowed to use any unique characters at all. Yeah. So no Primarchs, no no Karn, no nothing like that.
Named characters.
Yeah, no named. And then there are restricted units where I got the list here. So you can have 0-1 artillery, 0-1 unit containing monstrous creatures, 0-1 demon brutes, 0+ jet bike units, attack bike, beasts, cavalry, skimmers, walkers, tanks with all AV 12 or less, vehicle units of a type not listed elsewhere, and 0+ fortifications. And then there's more for restricted to games of at least 2,000 points, which is Praetor, Leviathan, Archmagos, Thanatar, Shield Captain, Heteron Guard, Telemon, 0-1 tank with AV 13 or less, and a 0-1 tank for other factions. They have specifically AV 13 for Mechanicum and Astartes, and then everything else is kind of whatever. But definitely an interesting combo of elements to build from, because you can only have up to 4 of those as well, 1 for every 500 points. So you kind of get put into a little bit of a box when you're trying to build your list. As Andy mentioned previously, he was having a bit of an issue with trying to shoehorn some bikes in there, and
I'll definitely explain why.
Explain, I guess you may as well.
So in general, like, the restrictions that get put upon you, there are certain armies that you can build a certain way, and specifically like my White Scars, I wanted to use my Rite, the Brotherhood, right? And it allows me to pretty much build a whole army of jet bikes and vehicles and whatnot. But with these restrictions, jet bikes are restricted units, and I can't not take infantry, which in a normal army, like in a regular army, even using the Rite, I can take infantry, but they're outflanking and they get all these other rules kind of thing. But it just doesn't free up enough points for me to take what I actually want, what I actually wanted to build my jet bike army to be, right? And then on top of that, as you move forward into the 3,000 point army, you have to fit that 2K army in there. And by having to take these units, you're still fighting against that, tide of like, okay, well, I have to take these units are like tax. Like, I have to take them, even though I know that going with the Rite, it's not going to be an effective force. I played it a few times and it doesn't work for me. So I had to go back and redesign, and it just kind of sucked in a sense. I wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan, but I'll still go in and play it and go with the boys and and do some work. But it's just almost a little too restricting in for my likes, So, but yeah, certain armies, if they're able to play a certain way, you kind of get slightly hampered because you can't play them that way. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at for that.
I think it definitely affects specific builds of armies, and unfortunately, like White Scars being the last release, they just don't have the same volume of potential builds as some of the other first, second, third, fourth, fifth books.
Yeah,
and it affects them more, I think.
Like the Chagorian Brotherhood is the right that I'm talking about, and it's just you being restricted in that 2K list of only those 4 units when you ultimately can take everything as bikes, but you can't now.
Yeah.
You have to take infantry, and it sucks.
It double affects you too, because your Praetor's on a bike, right? So you have
exactly.
You're double restricted there, so it really eats into your potential options.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I got around it and I built something. I've tried a couple of lists, and I got to a point of, okay, well, you know what, I'm happy with this list, and I'll play it, and we'll take it from there. And now I have these extra units, right? So yeah, I pretty much ended up not taking that Rite of War, and not taking any Rite of War, and just building a list using the White Scar rules, and picked some units that I knew I can count on, and try to use them for what I need to use them for damage and this and that, and go from there, right? So I don't have 60 Marines on the board, but I do get to field all my jet bikes that I wanted to. So
that is true. I should also add
that I own, I should say.
For the Centurion Plus stuff, the following units are unavailable. So no Primarchs like we talked about earlier. No tanks of AB-14 or more for Mechanicum or Astartes. No flyers, no drop pods, no termite assault drills. No heavy vehicles, no super heavy vehicles. No demon behemoths, and no gargantuan creatures. So
and then on top of that, like, they are using the Mournival rules, right?
Yeah, using
that's all the fun stuff, Bill.
Well, there is a lot of fun stuff in there, I have to admit, that you kind of don't get to bring. Using the Mournival events battle manual and then the rule book, so they have like an FAQ and errata that they have in place, which does change some point costs, weapon stats, a few different little things here and there. Some of the biggest, like, notable ones are javelins are up 10 points, just because they just threw in an extra charge for the cyclones. Things like Havoc squads are minus, like, they reduce in cost by 25 points. Phoenix Terminators with their spears are AP2 all the time. Like, there is a few different things that they've done and added in that do help with some of the game balance issues.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an interesting combination of elements, though, for a game, especially at this kind of a platform with so many people.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually seeing people actually bring Mournival units. I'm only going to bring one for the 3 point. My Centurion list is pretty vanilla, actually, but I'm looking, veteran Terminator squads, and all the units you don't see because they're just poor in the current rule books have been slightly chested or fixed. making them a lot more viable. I'm actually excited to see people bring them.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I haven't really wrapped my head around a lot of the Mournival units. I've heard of a couple, this and that, changes like Land Raiders and stuff like that. The extra capacity that they can take. And I don't know. I just kind of stuck to my guns with what I knew for my units. Didn't really go into trying some of the units that are in there and putting them in the list. So maybe at a later point we'll kind of jump into that and try playing it a little bit. But for this event, I'm just checking it out and seeing what people bring and see how it's going to be interesting to see how these units really affect the games.
Yeah.
Right? Is something changed that it's actually going to be like, oh wow, that's like really, really good? Or did somebody come up with a combo that is devastating? Or maybe it's not so good, you know what I mean? So definitely be interesting to see. And like Alex said, to see how many people actually do. So
it's true. It's true. I didn't bring any Mournival stuff for mine. I was thinking about trying to slip in like a Navigator or a Remembrancer or a Rogue Psyker or something like that. But honestly, I went pretty much pure with my Legion and the list that I wanted to run. I think it very much... It's very much the army I want to play. As I said earlier, I want to just drown the board in bodies and have lots of guns. And I was able to, I think, bring that to a nice healthy spot, especially for the 2K Centurion. There's a lot of mobile firepower and then a lot of bodies to chew through. So I think it'll be an interesting thing for sure. They did make some announcements, like with the event. There is no podium finish, so for those like listening, there's no real reason to need to bring like that Wombo combo Death Star in a Spartan at 3K. Although, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure we're gonna see a Warhound. I'm sure we will. It'll be there, hanging out, doing its thing. Not to mention at 3K, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of other Lords of War tanks, falchions, and stuff like that kicking about. I'm more afraid of like a glaive myself, just because that'll make pretty short work of my army, I think.
Well, if I come across a Warhound table, I might be in trouble. just saying, I might be in trouble. Usually I got some big guns to try to work with those things, but a lot of the strength on my weaponry is not super high for taking tanks out and shit.
Yeah.
I tried to fit in like a couple las cannons, like a couple AP2 weapons, a couple AP3 weapons, just to kind of take all comers. Like my 3K games, I'm pretty sure are just going to be like, look across the table and be like, yep, I'm going to need more beer for this. Or it's gonna be like I think I can make this work. I'm playing Day of Revolution on both 2K and 3K, and I don't have a lot of infantry, and all the infantry I do have is small squads, like it's 10-man squads that jump packs, and yeah, I'm expecting them to get eaten up pretty quick.
Only 10?
Yeah.
What?
Okay, full disclosure, I thought I had 30. And I had been building a list around 30 for almost 4 months, and I realized I only had 25, like 2 weeks ago.
Gotcha. Whoops.
Yeah.
So I'm a little short.
But like this, talking about this right now, like this, it's kind of a thing where you're definitely going to be playing the mission.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. That's my mentality with every game, is play the mission as best as you can, right? Yeah, you're going to take casualties and this and that stuff, but if you can score points and get the victory and not just the victory out of a wipe or something like that, it's the way to play it. And apparently there's, this is supposed to be a more so narrative kind of event,
Yeah.
with some story which we don't really have details on, but we'll see how it goes, see how these missions turn out, and whatnot, and just kind of in my head, it's just going to be play the mission, try to score as many points as I can to take the day right. So we'll see how it goes. Is it going to be successful? I don't know. Like I said, if I see some big units on the other side of the board and I know they're going to cause some pain, then might be a short match. Other than that, really, it's just go out and have some fun.
Yeah.
And see all these guys' armies, right? Probably take a whole bunch of pictures, but should be fun.
I'm just going to kill warlords. That's it.
Yeah.
I have no goal. I'm not going to play the mission. I'm gonna point in a direction, and I'm going to wreck that warlord's world, and that's it. That's it.
Very nice. Just sever the head, eh? Should have played Sons of Horus.
They're on my painting table right now.
Oh, I remember. I saw some pictures of the true scale Justy terms.
They're so good looking. So good.
Yeah, they'll look awesome. Look awesome. At the 3K level, that's the level I'm not actually too worried about. Even if I do run into a Warhound, it'll probably not last. If I get first turn, it's probably gonna die. As long as my dice don't fail me. So I just made sure I had some high strength, low AP shooting. I really took advantage of my Tyrant Siege Terminators this particular event. I bumped up the squad to 8-man. Obviously running with the Siege Breaker just because, I don't want to deal with any shenanigans. If I'm fighting other tanks, if I'm fighting speeders or dreads or anything with an AV value, I want to be able to kill it or glance it out as quickly as possible. And I want to just really kind of make it all about my boots. It's just going to be mass squads rolling up and getting support by all the other elements and just cleansing everything with a bolter, which is, I think, true to the Astartes nature. So
did just looking at some of the event FAQs. So did any of you guys decide to purchase any relics or Tyracana?
no,
Yeah.
I didn't.
I know I did. So the Divining Blade for my Praetor.
Yeah, I got Divining Blade.
Yeah. Because apparently you can only bring really one of either, right? So
The other option I really strongly considered was the Warp Shunt Field, where you have a 12 AV for like a bubble around you, and everyone deep striking in the same area, and then throwing up a warp bubble, just see how long it can last.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been interesting to see. Yeah, I didn't really look at too many others. I just figured, well, that's a good fit for my Praetor. Just take that, see what damage you can do. But I don't really have too many close combat units, really, that are going to be as fast as the Praetor. So he might be a lone wolf, or he might just kind of charge at the same time another unit charges in. Hopefully makes it and doesn't get blasted, but
No doubt.
See how
No
it goes.
Yeah.
Part of my 4 infantry choices is actually a command squad, like a actual HQ command squad.
Ooh,
I looked at that. I know we had an episode a little while ago about command squads, and I was starting to build one for my jet bikes and whatnot. Like everybody's on a bike command squad. Got really expensive really fast for sure. Model wise is pretty cool because I made each one of them all individual. And then when I brought them into game, the first thing got shot and they got blown off the table. So it kind of sucked.
That's how I expect my first turn.
And
typically.
so like they weren't really like the first thing targeted. It was the unit beside them that was targeted by like a blast template, and it scattered on them. And because they weren't the target of the attack, they could not jink. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
A
So
little bit nasty.
I've been fooled by that twice now. It's like, okay, that's something I have to remember now. So look out for that. But yeah, some good learning lessons.
I have 4 squads of power armor dropping in on turn 1 with just a cover save, and that's it.
Oof.
So like I don't, and they can't jink. So
Oh my.
face tank it.
Mm-hmm. I considered bringing the black helm of the judges, or helm of the black judges, but I opted for no. I opted for no relics and no Sire Arcana this round. Even my Warsmith is just rocking a power fist. You know, he's pretty plain Jane. I'm not a big fan of getting my hands dirty with my Iron Warriors. If I'm running in the combat, it's because there's like no way I can lose. So most of the time it's just shoot everything down and just move on to the next target. Because no, not a fan.
Did you give your Marines extra close combat weapons?
No, I didn't bother. I just want them just letting it rip. The only reason, okay, I'll explain. I'll expand on that just a little bit. So at 3K, I'm actually running a Rite of War, which is Hammer of Olympia, which allows me to take 4 heavy support choices, which is awesome. And
lucky.
Oh yeah, and which, don't get me wrong, I've taken full advantage to make sure I bring some of the nasty ones. But I'm allowed to rapid fire and still charge with all my infantry, which is pretty sweet. But it counts as disordered, so taking the extra close combat weapons doesn't really help me out too much.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I just figured, save the points, it'll be fine. I did splurge on specialized ammunition, which is another Mournival thing. So all Legion Astartes Iron Warriors, for 5 points a squad, and after I tell you this, you guys will be like, well, yeah, why wouldn't you take it? But every squad that has bolters, like my Tyrant Terminators, all my tactical squads, they all have shrapnel bolts, which is basically a baby version of shrapnel shells for heavy bolters. All my shooting causes pinning. All of it. Anything with a heavy bolter obviously has shrapnel shells, but all the Marines have pinning, which is really, really cool. So it's hopefully just going to be overwhelming firepower, pin a unit, kind of point at it and be like, yeah, I'll kill that next turn and move on to the next one. So
nice.
Yeah, mine do strike down, like concuss.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I couldn't, like, I don't have a lot of bolters, so I kind of looked at it as like, I guess on bolt pistols you could pin before you charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just get extra range. So
it's not bad though, because it bumps your standard bolter to 30 inches.
Yeah.
So you're rapid firing at 15. It could be good if you built around it, I suppose.
Yeah. Or I could just take jet bikes with heavy bolters.
You could. So
yeah, because my big squad of jet bikes, there's 2 plasma cannons, and then the rest are heavy bolters. So pretty much, what do I got? Javelins with cyclones, multi-meltas, and then like each of them have 2 HK missiles. So some decent firepower from them. They'll do some work. Brought 2 of the Sakaran Arcus tanks. I kept them.
Two?
Yeah.
You dirty bitch.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I could have taken them as a unit, apparently.
It's true. Yeah.
But I wanted to keep them separate. So, and then jetbike squad with Volkite culverins, I believe it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So they'll be flying around, putting some firepower down somebody's throat as well. So, and then a couple Terminators, and then the Eben Kashig will drop down as well, just to harass and take out some of the weaker units like Marines and artillery pieces, stuff like that. So, just kind of one of those units I had to throw in there, just models I had, and they would count as infantry. They were cool to paint.
They look awesome.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So it was a testing ground for a future army that I will do for a different system. So same kind of colors, but that's a different story. Yeah.
Yeah, at this rate, I don't know if I'm painting black for those just Aaron right now, and I think I'm done painting black, but I have to finish all that 40k Space Marine stuff with which is all Iron Hands. I'm just so tired of painting black.
I never really painted black very much, except for maybe one-offs. You know what I mean? So doing this was interesting. The five Eben Kashig that I did just kind of took me out of my comfort zone a little bit. So kind of glad how it went. I'll try to improve a little bit more here and there. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. As for a full army, well, it might happen. But it's definitely a tough color to actually do. I know, Bill, you did that with your Black Legion earlier on.
Yeah, well, black's one of those colors. It's as easy or as hard as you want to make it.
That's where I'm at with it. I discovered this like real ghetto non-metal metallic version of it about 2 years ago when I was painting my Iron Hands for 40k, and I was like, oh, this is really good, but it's just so time consuming. You literally have to edge highlight every single edge on the model.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss it, it starts to not look as good. And then after you've edge highlighted, like, you go back over it with like 2 or 3 different coats of different grays and whites to like make it kind of pop a little more. End result is really cool, but fuck, does it take time.
Yeah.
No doubt. I know. I think if I was to like do, like Raven Guard or something down the road kind of thing, it would have been, obviously start with the black, but then use that. What is that color? Is it Corvus? I believe it's Corvus Black or something like that from GW. It almost has like a gray tinge to it, and then kind of work up slightly to maybe some kind of dark blue on certain spots, just to change it up a little bit.
That's how it starts. That's how they get you.
Yeah. And then next, they're doing line highlights. But that's a different story. Yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what armies are going to be at the event.
Yeah, that's true.
You think we're going to see some demons?
Nope.
Yeah. Don't think so?
No, it's real hard to build a Centurion list off of demons.
I guess.
Yeah. No knights, obviously, because knights can't build a Centurion list, so...
Sorry, actually, I take that back. You could build an all infantry Centurion list. You'd have I remember we talked about this when the first Centurion Plus rules came out, and we were looking at it. I was like, yeah, okay, I could put 240 demons on the table, and it would just roll over everything. They'd be 2 wounds each, strength toughness 5 for 2 turns. You could give them rending, strength 6. it would be the worst army in the world to play against. It's deep striking basically because it spawns 12 inches off the table edge on its turn. Like it's so brutal. It would be terribly unfun to play against, and it would be wicked to paint.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's probably not gonna be the funnest game to play, but it is a reality. Could happen.
It's true. It's true.
Right.
I did 100 models of demons last year. That was enough. This is twice.
Yeah, it's a brutal number.
I'm expecting to see a lot of militia, cults, or solar, like Imperial Army. I think you might see a couple Custodes lists, but not a lot. Just, I know some of the Mournival stuff, they did have additional tax on Custodes units. I think it was 25 points per unit.
Yeah, that's a
25 points per unit. That's right.
Yeah,
20 to 25.
That's a hefty tax.
So there was a couple little things like that were kind of I'm not sure how many you'll see. It definitely power armor. I think you'll see a lot of the, obviously, Marine lists. The Legion Wars aren't over yet, so I think that'll be a lot of fun. I would have liked to see some missions personally before we started, and I know the reason why they opted not to show any missions before, just to ensure like the narrative wasn't going to be affected or diluted in any way. But I would have rather known, like, did I take the most effective list to be able to play these missions? Some guys, if they're wanting to take a bunch of transports and stuff, might get kind of caught off as like not a gotcha moment, but a like, oh crap, like what am I supposed to do now? Because half their units can't go in this building or interact with the objective or insert reason here, and it just I like to kind of get a good ballpark of what the games will entail. Not so much like I don't care about like trying to tailor to the mission, because I still want to play like the list I want to play, but I just want to know, what we were actually going to be doing in the game. So,
well, in a sense, you're building an all-comers list, right? Which, in my eyes, I don't really see it any different than how I would normally build a list, knowing the missions as well, right? Like you said, I'm not tailoring to the mission. I'm building my army to be able to try to handle pretty much, any situation. Like, I know how it plays. I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. I know where I can struggle. I know what I do really good at, right? But if there's some kind of funky, like, example, let's say there's some kind of funky mission parameters that, you have to enter this building with only infantry. Well, okay. What if I did take that full jet bike army?
The only thing I'm really concerned about is VP bonuses for list builds, because the list building was mandated. Like, one thing that the previous LVO had was that, like, if you had 3 infantry based troop choices, you got +1 VP to offset, kind of like force people into doing something kind of more like we want power armor models on the table type of thing. And I get that, but if that's the case, we kind of knew about it going in advance, that the expectation was it was supposed to be there, and you get a bonus. I would hate to like show up and then be automatically playing every game at a disadvantage, just because of that. And I know narrative, the premise is not to win, but at the end of the day, like, every game is going to have a winner or loser.
Well,
one team or one person starting off at a disadvantage every game without knowing in advance, that was my only concern. And the fact that, like, if they go with sequential or consistent scoring, like how 40k has gone, where you get points per turn. With the list I have, like, I have 4 very squishy troops choices, and those are my only scoring choices, and they're very easy to wipe off the table. Whereas, like, Bill, your list would be like baller for something like that, right?
Yeah.
So you're going in with a natural advantage. I'm going in with a natural disadvantage. And I know there's pros and cons to that, but that'd be a bit of a feels bad.
No, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and like going back to what Alex said there about the end of the match, there's winner or loser or whatever, draw kind of thing. Like, I know there's no podium finish, but you're still battling for your side. You're still trying to get whatever points for the loyalists or traitors, and essentially, like, you want your army to perform well. So knowing these missions in advance would have been, a little bit of foresight for just even tactical play for your army, right?
Yeah.
Like, my army actually does quite well on this mission. Okay, this mission, what do I need to change in my army to do well, right? Call that tailoring? I don't think so, because you're not just playing the one mission. You know what I mean? Because I think you got like 6 matches.
Yeah,
I think we're playing, which is a lot. That's a lot of missions.
6 matches?
Yeah.
I want to say it's 3 and 3. Yeah.
Now, don't forget, it's going to be a mix between Centurion and
and that we
2,000
don't.
points.
Whoa.
We don't actually know either how that's going to break down. I don't know if day 1's going to be 3K and then day 2's 2K, or if it'll be a mix of 3K and 2K games and whatnot. Like, it kind of, again, there's no real clue as to like how the format's going to go in terms of games, which is an interesting way to do, I guess.
I'm gonna need new shoes if we're doing 6 games.
I bought some the other
I might
day.
actually bring one of those those cool little gel floor mats to play on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You'll be feeling
Like an old
it, boy.
lady. Like, oh, excuse me, I gotta put my floor mat down.
Yeah.
We'll just go get some wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Just roll them in.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? I'm putting my tray down. Yeah. So they're going to be long days for sure.
Yeah. Well.
We'll see. We'll see who's hurting at the end of the day. But
Me, this guy's gonna hurt. I'm not prepared for that.
But overall, yeah, it's different. It's a different setup. I know there was a lot of people asking questions about that kind of stuff on the Facebook group, and some guys didn't even really know what Mournivel was as well, right? So
Yeah, watching the release there last week, or the week before now, I guess, on Adepticon's announcement that 40% of it's going to be Mournivel as well, had real mixed bag. I kind of thought, honestly, just in our group, I know we're not Australian, but it got picked up pretty quick. Like, it's there's only 1 or 2 big dissenting voices in the group, and for the most part, everyone's like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. What the hell?
Yeah.
The meta was pretty stale at the time, and people were open to it. I was surprised at the Adepticon reaction.
Yeah.
Again, the events still filled out. Like, they still sold out here, like, within a week. Don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of, usually where it's always positive for the Adepticon Heresy page, there was a whole bunch of kind of negative comments, almost as many as when they announced that you had to be vaxxed and have masks.
Yeah, which, let's be real, that was like, you should have seen that coming, but it is what it is.
Mournivel and masks, this is bullshit.
Yeah, it did surprise me with the amount of people that were kind of like up in arms. Like, I know reading a couple posts, some guys were like, I just signed up for this thing and it's sold out now, and half my army isn't even valid because of this or that. And I'm like, oh god, like, I don't know, man. Gotta read that fine print a little bit,
Well, yeah, and there's also a thing too, is like, guys who are playing Heresy, who have been playing Heresy, if they're not into Mournivel, they probably already have their armies all done up and built and ready to go.
Do you even Mournivel, bro?
Yeah. Well, that's just it, right? Like, do I?
Once I Mournivel'd so hard, I went back to the basic.
Yeah.
So
I want someone to show up with like 4 assassins, veteran Terminators, and some bonkers shit.
I'm scared of, like, I know talking with Mark, he's one of the Australian guys that actually got me kind of looking at the Mournival stuff, but like in the book they have tactical support squads, and I'm just worried about like some Stone Gauntlet bullshit where they're all running around with plasma guns and they're all hanging out T5 with boarding shields, and I was just like, oh, that looks gross, man. Like, I just there are some combos in there that I think are good, but they're fairly balanced in terms of points. Minus that stuff that you found, Alex.
Like looking over at my mechanical stuff, I was like, yeah, no, it's real balanced.
Yeah, not that stuff. But I will say on a positive note, if you do find glaring issues and you find yourself stumbling upon some unintended combos, that Tom and the boys at Mournival are very good at taking the feedback and tweaking things and changing things. A lot of the stuff isn't just like, hey, let's just come up with whatever we think of. It is play tested. It is actually ran through a bunch of circuits in Australia where this is all from. So there is a little bit of foresight and whatnot into it. It's just, if you find anything popping up that's a little questionable, just ask, because they're really good at explaining it as well.
How can you trust the Aussies? Everything there is upside down. How do we know this is going to work?
Well, this is true.
So talking about Mournival and stuff too, these releases that GW has been releasing.
Oh, the exemplary battles.
Yeah, like, does it seem like that's what the route they're trying to go? Kind of seeing how Mournival has kind of done some stuff. Maybe GW is trying to kind of go that path and bring out,
Well, they're fleshing out some units that are mentioned in the books, and then they don't see the light of day in a rule book or even a model. And it's nice to see them continuously trying to add new stuff to the game. I'm kind of on the fence. To me, it's a slow drip, which is cool, but like, shit or get off the pot. Just release a new version already. Give me a trader book, give me a loyalist book, give me Warzone books every couple months with new cool stuff, missions and whatnot. Kind of, similar to how 40k is going. And I'd be happy.
how much outrage you get.
Well, unpopular opinion. If you want any change within the system, there will always be those who naysay and think that Heresy's perfect. It's really good. I've had a lot of fun playing for the last decade. It's been great. Are there issues? Yes, there are. And I think, Alex, you said it perfectly. As long as there are gamers, there's always a meta. And I'm sure as long as there's always gamers involved, you'll always run into unintended combos or just some extra greasy stuff that someone's going to have in a list. And it's just, you know what, if we can keep moving forward and redressing the balance and make the game enjoyable for both sides of the spectrum, regardless of playstyle, be it your hardcore comp or your hardcore narrative, or you just like the rest of us, just want to roll dice. I think there is a happy medium for everybody. So
yeah, and like my comment there about the meta was like, gamers will find a path to succeed or to win. That's always going to be the case.
Oh, for sure.
That's what gamers do. I know, like the spiky bits guys. They always say that gamers will always find a way to min max. And I as much as the Heresy crowd thinks they're exempt from that, even in the super narrative games, you still see Spartans filled with Terminators, an Apothecary, and a Primarch,
or a Chaplain.
And like that's not a comment on the fact that it's like a wombo combo that's impossible to beat. It's actually pretty easy to beat with the really meta-based armies. But the problem is that that's it. Like it's like you want to be like a real hardline Astartes player. Like, you know, you pack your party bus up and you go to town, and whoever's got the best party bus usually wins the match, or they end up stalemated and the points don't do anything. Or you end up with the other side. You end up with Custodes, Militia, or Mechanicum, which have like are far on the other side of the spectrum, where they have ways to swing matches substantially, and then it's just a feels badsy event. Like that meta is not consistent with building a community, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Now, about the releases that GW is doing, to long-winded get to Andy's answer question, it's bullshit. Fucking cock teases. That's what that is. Just release it already. Stop giving us bullshit. Like no real like we've got the unit, like we've got the model. Like there's this like, you know, what was it? Lions. The Tyrannic gave the Tyrannic greatswords. We made the Tyrannic greatswords better. Thanks.
Yeah, they didn't have to be better. They were fine as is.
That's what the game needed right now. Better Tyrannic greatswords. You fucks.
And what about what about the Death Guard?
Oh man. Hey, I like the squad. It looks cool. It sounds neat having multiple flamers and chem munitions and stuff, but I don't know.
Did they get the short end of the stick?
It felt like
Absolutely.
it. To me, that's just a tactical support squad on steroids, and not even
those should have
great
been
steroids.
Those should have been Strength 3, AP 3 flamers.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Like I just pulled that out of my ass, and it's better than what just came out last week.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I like it.
Like, give them something that makes flamers like really scary. That, like, when those things pop out of a 30k is about rock paper scissors units, and that is not like 5 Terminators with boosted Tyrannic greatswords and plasma cufflinks are like, that thing pops out, you're like, I'm gonna lose the unit. I don't care what they're targeting, I'm gonna lose it. Like the Death Guard unit pops out and you're like
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, I just I don't know. It's kind of, you would think you'd be bringing out units that were a bit more, had a bit more to them.
Yeah.
Than just kind of like this Death Guard unit. Like, I don't know, something that would work quite nicely with the army and maybe something new. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, every time I see it, I kind of wonder, okay, so is this going to be a shit unit, or is this going to be, you know, a much more improved unit that's already out there?
Yeah.
In a sense, right?
I think they're missing an opportunity to rehash and fix old units by doing this. I think it would be a great way as a teaser, like, oh, hey, check it out. Here's your, Emperor's Children, and oh, look, you still get the Terminators, and you can still have, all the great Legion-specific units, but they've been revamped. Here's new rules. Oh,
so like a Cacophony, a heavy weapon.
Yeah, it was something, right? Like, it would be, oh, cool, this is what's coming out. And then when they actually do update the game or the system or whatever, you've already got a chance to, you have a little taste, right? But they're going to add even more stuff.
Chapter approved.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would have been nice.
Like an index, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
it would have been nice. So
and this would also be an opportunity for them to, say they can bring out the models for it as well, but even still, they could bring other characters in that would change a way that the armies could play.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Here's a new type of Praetor. And again, like Mournival really hit the nail on the head with their Centurion, optional Centurions. That exact same concept. They could do that. They could literally just steal that idea and people would be happy.
Oh, you're talking about like the gunnery Centurion and stuff?
Yeah, this like the Seraphim for Blood Angels, which like reduces you to a single D6. Don't get me wrong, piece of shit. But at least Mornivel's trying to like here's some flavor,
Yeah.
which fits the narrative of your force, and like I think that's it's always the blessing and the failing of 30K because it's got such rich lore, but at the end of the day, the legions are up until right at the end of the heresy are basically stamped out of clay.
Yeah.
And so you are going to have, a big battle, a pitched battle would have, 1,000 Marines and Rhinos against 1,000 Marines and Rhinos.
No, it's true. It's true.
But like, you have that flavor. Like, you have those special characters that add a whole bunch of like, Crusade Force or Templars, for example, for fists.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, they could introduce these other characters that would actually change like the whole composition of the army, or a different kind of rite that can change things up, shake it up a little bit, and have an appeal that players would actually play, right? So,
oh man, new rites of war would be real.
Yeah,
nice.
that'd be legit.
Just think of playing like you're playing your army, Bill, like your Iron Warriors, and now they brought out this other Rite of War 4 specifically for Iron Warriors, and it's a different way of playing them.
They did do that with the Iron Fire, much to I'll be honest, I never actually used it. I didn't think it was great. But, yes, having more rights available would be nice, especially Legion-specific ones. Maybe things that they didn't quite nail the first time they could bring in, or use a specific part of the lore. Like, I'm still a little upset that Space Wolves didn't have a drop pod Rite of War. It kind of, I don't know, man. It just stung me in a way that just, yeah.
Still to this day.
To this day, it still burns. Yeah.
And there's a lot of different things they could have done too, and even involve different aspects of the game as well. Like, they could have done a lot of other stuff with Zone Mortalis as well.
Yeah.
So
just
we'll
know.
See how the future goes, and hopefully we'll get this so-called new edition at some point. Hopefully this year. I don't know. And maybe shake things up a bit and make some events, get some more hype and excitement for that kind of stuff again, right?
Yeah.
Are we gonna get it, you think? Are we gonna get it in the preview?
I don't know. I really hope. We ended up getting tickets for that Games Workshop preview little show, and I really hope to see some Heresy stuff. If we don't, I think it's safe to say that it's probably not going to be out this year.
Like 2022?
I suspect if we don't see it in this little preview, we'll be lucky if we get it by fourth quarter. I just have a feeling this will be like the next 6 months worth of stuff. Like, check this out! And it's going to be like a total nerdgasm in that room. Everyone's going to be pumped and watching all this cool stuff, and I hope it is.
And the Heresy guys are going to be crying in the corner.
Yeah, well, they might be. They might be like, "What the hell, man?"
Just a bunch of nerds with their arms crossed sitting at the back and mad.
Yeah, just upset.
Oh boy,
just upset. So I don't know. We'll
Here's
see.
a new Angron model. What?
Yeah, yeah. The demon version is the reboxed Bloodthirster.
Oh, I'm yeah. Shit. The new head skull.
Oh, the anger would be real.
Yeah, I could see some salt from that. We'll have to see. I know after LVO we're gonna have a post LVO show, and I think we'll make sure Dan's with us too, so we can get some play-by-play on the Titanicus action. Because this, again, we're specifically just talking about the Horus Heresy event, but yeah, Dan should have some good insight on how that went, and yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. So
yeah, it's supposed to tie into the whole story
Heresy event.
event, right, in the story. So
it'll be interesting. Same with the mega battle. It's supposed to tie in. Yeah. It's. I'm interested to see how the mechanics and everything will work. Especially, going in as a player this time. I'm really curious to see how it's going to go. So, looking forward to rolling dice and having beers and yeah.
No, definitely. It'll be a good time for sure. Win or lose, it'll be good.
I'm gonna lose, but man, am I going to get some heads. I mean, I'm Bloodigal. That's not what I do, but
it could have.
Fuck, I would have drank some blood.
Yeah, drinking blood.
I'm gonna be happy just to drive on by with my white scars and lop some heads off with my Praetor.
Drive on by. It's like the fast food of 40k
awesome.
or 30k.
Just fire the mass heavy bolters. Just go. It'll be fun. It'll be good.
So what we talked a little bit about LVO. What about post LVO? Are we still doing 30k?
30k as in like
I don't know.
Titanicus? Yes.
Sure.
Titanicus, I'm really leaning to. I really want to check it out. I won't lie, I also have a full Nuance Sprue Drukhari army that is also calling my name, so we'll see. 30k. I know. 30k for me might go on ice for a little bit. As things start to cocoon and become the beautiful butterfly like I know it needs to be.
Yeah, it's we've been playing it for quite a bit of time now. And, a few of us have some new armies and stuff like that, which we'll still be playing, throughout the year. I'm sure there'll be some events.
Oh yeah.
Gather the community up again and try to have some fun events with that. And who knows, maybe some kind of league or campaign happens. But being able to play the new army here and there would be cool. But as our lineup kind of goes ahead, and we're looking at Titanicus all the time, and there's been some hype for it. I think that will be, like Bill said, the 30k aspect of our gaming. But I think the hype for that game, community wise and friend wise, is going to start to explode. There's a lot of people that have taken some good interest into it. We know Dan's just been hardcore on it.
Oh yeah.
I know Alex is ready for it as well. Myself and Bill we're getting pretty pumped, especially after our last game we had there. There's a lot of explosions.
Oh yeah, it was legit.
So, and then and a couple of newer players that haven't played the game, or they're actually taking interest in it. Definitely be fun to get going, so we all kind of learn the game, kind of play it out, have some good times, and pick these legios, paint them up like always. Start new ones, whichever. And then of course we have tons of other games that we're jumping into as well. But Heresy's always there.
Yep.
And I mean, if we do get a sight of something new sooner than than we think, then that will be fun and interesting to do too.
It will.
If it's fresh and something new and it changes, well, I'm sure everybody's just going to be all over it. So
There's a bait and switch question. I'm still playing 30k, and you guys are quitters.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see.
It's okay. My bikes are still sitting in my showcase, so they can fly out at any time. So, but yeah, no, there's still a lot of guys interested too. Like we have a couple new players that are playing.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign too. I think it was just on the weekend there. A couple of guys I seen at the local shop that were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was,
Norman and Scott were playing.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
5K Salamander
Yeah, that
versus
was huge.
Custodes. I was surprised.
On a 6-foot table.
Yeah, it looked
That's a full sandwich.
crazy.
Yeah, when I went to the store there and I seen it, I was like, "Oh, smokes!" Like somebody got packed in the corner.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. But so we fly off to LVO, get all set up and ready to rock.
Thursday.
Yep.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Hopefully, who knows? Maybe any of our listeners are going to be down there as well. Come by and say hi.
Yeah,
I'm sure
for
we'll be around.
I'll be the intoxicated Blood Angel player who's left his table at the end of turn 2.
So yeah, it'll be
You guys aren't done?
yeah,
yeah,
no doubt.
I'm done. You want a drink? No? Okay, I'll be in the corner mini me.
Just be carrying your army in a plastic bag. I'm out.
Yeah, just mumbling. Okay, guys, I deep striked, and yeah, that was the game.
Fuck this army. Sanguinius deserved it.
We'll have a lot of good memories. We'll take a lot of good pictures.
Oh yeah.
Try to get I know I'll be snapping a lot of pictures of the armies there and whatnot as much as I can.
Yeah. We're gonna try and
And,
go live. Try and maybe sneak peek what's going on in that GW preview. See if we can show you guys that in real time. So
yeah.
we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what we can do. Trying to keep it exciting for everyone at home. So.
And if anybody asks, I cannot say.
I cannot say. This is true.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Thanks for being here with us, Alex. It's always a
Anytime.
pleasure. We'll have a lot of laughs and pictures and stories probably to tell, especially on the next podcast afterwards.
Oh yeah, the post show will be good.
Until then, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you there if you're there. And I guess we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Catch you.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.